So there is this lady who commented on my spirit of rejection video where I was talking about when men get rejected by a woman and how they will have the attitude or the spirit of rejection. So her comment was, she wrote a long paragraph, and this is a video response to her. One of the things that she said in her comment, she said that a lot of black women miss out on opportunities because they are more focused on looks versus character. And I do agree with that statement, but I want to address that statement. Now, like I said, I do agree with that. A lot of women in general, or a lot of black women in general, do miss out on a good man because a lot of women are focused on looks. However, I do believe that there is a double standard, and if you stick around for the video, I'm going to explain to you why. One of the things that I want to talk about is looks, compatibility, chemistry, physical attraction, and intimacy. And I know I said one thing and then I ended up naming several, but these are some of the things that I want to talk about. First being looks compatibility. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with he's like a life coach, motivational speaker, man of God. His name is Tony Gaskins. He's well known all over YouTube and all over everywhere. One of the things that he talks about is looks compatibility, and I do agree with Tony. Now, for those of you who do watch Tony or know who I'm talking about, Tony is a married man and he's an attractive man. Okay, I would say that Tony probably could have just about any woman that he wants. Tony is married to a very attractive woman. Okay, I would say she probably could have just about any man that she wants. They make a beautiful couple. They are both very attractive on the outside, and I'm sure that they are just as beautiful on the inside as they are on the outside. Now, one of the double standards that I do not like about society is the fact that society says that it's okay for a man to want and attract a woman, whether that man is handsome or not so handsome. But when a woman wants an attractive man, then there's a double standard and there's a problem. Okay, so prime example, you have celebrities, celebrity men, whether they are attractive or unattractive by societal standards. You have, men who they want beautiful women. A lot of the celebrities, and not just celebrity men, but also regular men, preachers, pastors, lawyers. Most men tend to want an attractive woman, and there is nothing wrong with it. But somehow, on the other hand, when a woman wants the same thing or wants a man that she's attracted to, then there seems to be a problem or a double standard. So one of the things that I wanted to address to your comment was that you said that a lot of black women miss out on good opportunities or miss out on good men because they are too concerned with looks. Okay, so let me set the record straight. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a female wanting a man that she is attracted to, wanting to date a man that she is attracted to, or wanting to be married to a man that she is attracted to. Me, I've never been married, but I'm believing in God for my husband. Let me explain something to you. In that video, the spirit of rejection video, I was talking about the spirit of rejection, so that may not have been a good video for you to comment on. Furthermore, it was not so much as that I was not attracted to him. The reason why I didn't want to talk to him or give him my number, reason being, number one, he lacked discernment. Okay, the man that God has for me is not gonna lack discernment. Okay, that's number one. He had a spirit of rejection, meaning that he just had a spirit of rejection. Also, number two, he made an assumption. He said that I was being arrogant when I wasn't. That's gaslighting. So that's a red flag, or that's another sign that there was not the man that God had for me. People have to understand that Satan sent people and God also sent people. Okay, furthermore, he didn't know how to take a hint, but that goes back to discernment and the lack thereof. Also, there was no spark, there was no chemistry. Discernment is a gift. So if we're having a conversation, or if you're asking me something but I'm not really answering you, I'm acknowledging you but I'm not really answering you, and I'm not giving you contact, then I'm not giving you eye contact. If I'm looking at my computer screen, or just trying to be polite, then that should let you know. He should have been able to discern that I wasn't attracted to him, or that I was not interested. And then lastly, another reason why I didn't want to give him my number is because I'm not in a place right now where I'm ready to date. I'm focused on my assignment and my calling. So at this time, I'm not ready to date or give anyone a chance. Also, I just got out of a situationship with someone a couple months back, so I'm not even ready. So the spirit of rejection, if you have seen any of my other videos, maybe you need to look at the one on my channel called Men No Means No. At my job, a lot of men try to talk to me on a day-to-day basis because they like what they see. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, my reason behind the spirit of rejection video, and the reason being for the Men No Means No video, is because when a woman says no, she shouldn't have to elaborate or keep saying no when she's already said no. If I turn you down, there's no reason for you to still be sitting at my desk trying to convince me to give my number to you. And so no means no. And so I wholeheartedly agree with what I said, and I stand on what I said, and I meant what I said. So maybe that wasn't the video that you should have expressed your concerns. So that's what I wanted to say about that. But also, there seems to be a double standard when it comes to black women wanting a man that they are attracted to. Why is it okay that society says that men can want a beautiful woman and attract a woman, a drop dead gorgeous woman with a BBL or a face beat or whatever, but when a black woman wants someone that she's attracted to, it's an issue, it's a problem, it's a double standard? Why is that? Okay, you see, you don't know how I look physically, but I have a big behind. Okay, and a lot of men, I'm not an ugly female, but a lot of men, they look at me and they look at that and they want to get my number, or they want to talk to me for that. As a matter of fact, there was this one guy at my last job. I was headed into work one morning at my last job, and as I was unlocking the door for the customers to come in, and I was coming in myself, this guy actually said to me, as I was walking in, and he was walking in behind me, this man actually said to me, "Dang, it look like you got some good, you know what?" Okay, very disrespectful, very disrespectful. You see, he actually said that to me at my current job, probably maybe about a month ago. This older man that was sitting at my desk, and when I got up and walked to the printer, he actually said, "Dang, I didn't know you was that wide." You see what I'm saying? And I said to him, I said, "That's not a way to compliment a woman." And he said, "Well, I didn't mean it as a bad thing." You know what I was trying to say? I didn't mean nothing bad by that. I said, "Yeah, but that's not how you compliment a woman." So I could have been very rude to him. I could have said to him, "Dang, I didn't know you was that old." Or I could have said to him, "Dang, you dusty," or anything. I could have been mean and low down, but that's not the type of person that I am, and I wasn't really offended by it because I knew what he was trying to say. In other words, he was saying, "Oh, well, I didn't know you was that thick," or whatever, which would have been more appropriate, or he didn't have to say anything at all. So you see, it blows my mind at the double standards, how men think that they can say whatever they want to say to a woman, but we just supposed to not say anything. Back in the day, I remember several years back, I was in a grocery store, and this guy, not in the grocery store, but at a gas station, and he was like, "You pretty? Are you single?" or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah." And then his response was, he was like, "Oh, you must be crazy." Like, you know what I'm saying? What is that to say to somebody? Okay, because I'm attractive and you ask me, "Am I single?" and then your response is, "Oh, you must be crazy." Like, what is there for you to say? So it just amazes me at the double standards that, the things that men say to women so disrespectfully, but then when a woman wants someone that she's attracted to, it's a problem. And I'll give you this one last example. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I might have been 19, 20, but I've always had like this, hourglass figure with them. I remember one time I was in a grocery store, right? So this guy, he didn't know me at all, but I was in the store, and he was a complete total stranger. It was a black guy, I'll never forget. But I was really young. I probably was like anywhere from 19 to 22. I was really, really young. But this stayed with me because this was one of the reasons that I know that it's just some disrespectful, really perverted guys out there. And not just men, but women too. But I remember a complete total stranger, and I was in the grocery store. Do you know that this man grabbed my butt cheek? Okay, he grabbed my butt cheek, and I looked, and I could have slapped him, I could have punched him, I could have reported him, I could have asked that they call the police, I could have did any of those things, but I didn't do that. But it stuck with me, and it stayed with me, and I never told anybody about it. And I didn't say anything. I think I was more in shock that he did that, and I walked off, but it stayed with me. So it just amazes me at the disrespect and the double standards that a man can, it's okay for a man by society standards to want a woman that he's attracted to, but when a woman wants someone that she's attracted to, it's a problem. So with that being said, I want to take you to the book of Genesis. So in the book of Genesis, Jacob, okay, he was sent to Laban's house in the book of, what is this, Genesis chapter 29. And Jacob was sent to one of his family members' house, okay. And Jacob was sent to Laban's house. And in this chapter, Laban had two daughters, Rachel and Leah, okay. And Jacob, when he saw Laban's daughter Rachel, the younger sister, Jacob was very attracted to Rachel, and he wanted to marry her. Now they was all family members: Laban, Jacob, Rachel, Leah. They was uncle, brother, cousins, or whatever. They was all related or whatever. But Laban had two daughters, Rachel and Leah. Leah was the older sister, and Rachel was the younger sister. Now Jacob saw Rachel and thought that Rachel was very beautiful, and he wanted to marry Rachel. So long story being, to make a long story short, Jacob wanted Rachel. He didn't want Leah, the older sister, because the Bible says that Rachel was more beautiful. It didn't really describe Leah, but the Bible described Rachel as being more beautiful or more fair than Leah, the older sister. So Jacob, quite naturally, he wanted the younger sister, Rachel. So long story short, Laban, the father, he tricked Jacob because the condition was, okay, so Laban promised Jacob that he could have Rachel, the younger sister, if Jacob decided to serve him for 7 years. So Jacob agreed to serve Laban for 7 years in exchange for his daughter Rachel. So after the 7 years or whatever, Jacob ended up serving Laban, for 7 years in exchange for his daughter Rachel. But Laban ended up tricking Jacob, and Laban ended up giving Jacob the older daughter Leah, the less attractive daughter. Now, I don't know how he did that, but it must have been so after the 7 years, when it was time for Jacob and Rachel to consummate their marriage, Laban, the dad, he tricked Jacob and sent Leah, the younger daughter, into the bedroom or whatever, because he had served his 7 years. So it was time for Laban to keep his word. So Laban, the dad, he tricked Jacob and sent the elder daughter Leah into the room. So she must have had some type of covering or veil or something over her face, because he tricked her and sent the older daughter Leah into the room for them to consummate the marriage. So the next morning when they woke up, Jacob, he didn't know what was going on. He was just so happy to get into bed with who he thought was the love of his life that he didn't even realize that he had been tricked. So the next morning, Jacob was like, what is this? You beguiled me. You tricked me. What did you do? Where's my wife? You promised me Rachel, not Leah. I don't want Leah. So that's pretty much what happened, what he said. So Laban, with his shiesty self, he ended up saying, well, it is not customary, or it is not custom that we give the younger daughter away first over the younger daughter. So he said, you got to start. So Laban told Jacob, you got to serve me another 7 years if you want my daughter Rachel. So Jacob, okay, this is how in love he was with Rachel. Jacob ended up serving Laban another 7 years because he was so attracted and so awed and so in love with Rachel that he served Laban after being tricked another 7 years just to have her as his wife. That's how bad Jacob wanted Rachel. So in all, 7 plus 7 is 14. So Jacob was so attracted and so in love with Rachel that he served 14 years just to have her and take her as his wife. That's how bad he wanted her. 14 years. Can you imagine serving somebody 14 years? That's how bad he wanted her. Example number 1. I'll give you another example. If you go to 2 Samuel, I don't know what chapter it is, but if you go to the book of 2 Samuel, in that story, I'm sure you all are familiar with the story where David slept with Bathsheba. So what had happened was, in this story, David, okay, he saw Bathsheba taking a bath one day or whatever on the rooftop or whatever. I don't know how he saw her, but he saw her taking a bath or whatever. Make a long story short, he saw her and he wanted her. He was so in awe with her and he wanted her. But guess what? Bathsheba was a married woman, okay? But David, he was a king, so he took it upon himself and he went and got his people or whatever, and he said, hey, who is that woman? I want her. So he found out that she was married. But guess what? David didn't care. So he ended up going to Bathsheba's house or whatever, because he was a king. He could do whatever he wanted to do, and he ended up sleeping with Bathsheba, who was a married woman, and her husband, I believe, was he was away out of town at a war or somewhere fighting or whatever. And so David took it upon himself to inquire about this married woman, because he was a king and he felt he could do as he pleased, and he did. And guess what? And he slept with this married woman whose name was Bathsheba. Okay, now after David slept with this married woman, he went on about his business, but he still wanted her. Guess what? He got her pregnant. Not only did he get her pregnant, but then he had her husband killed because he wanted her that bad. So do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see the double standards? I'll give you one last scenario. Now, in the third scenario, I gotta go to it because I don't know their names, but I'm gonna tell you about Tamar and her brother. I believe his name. Let me go to it. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about the story of Ammon and Tamar really quick. So in this story, you can find this in 2 Samuel chapter 13, and this is the story of Tamar and Amnon. Now, Tamar and Amnon, if I'm not mistaken, were brother and sister. They were half brother and sister, I believe. Now, Amnon wanted Tamar so bad. He was so love struck, okay, so in love, so lusting, just like David did with Bathsheba. Amnon, he was so in love with Tamar that he didn't care that that was his sister. So he was speaking to someone. I forgot who he was speaking to. He might have been speaking to a friend or either a half brother or somebody, but he was having a conversation. This man, listen, he was so lovesick, all right? He was so in awe and so love struck with his half sister Tamar that he was speaking to, let's just say it was a guy. It was either his friend or one of his brothers or somebody. I don't know who it was, but they was having a conversation, and the friend or the brother or whatever, he was like, what's wrong with you? So he was like, man, I want Tamar or whatever. she fine, she look good or whatever, I won't take her. So he was like, whoop the whoop the whoop. They had the conversation or whatever. So he gave him some advice. He was like, okay, this what you do. This the friend or the brother telling Amnon what to do. So he like, this what you do. Play sick, okay? Have her to go in there and cook you something good to eat. Then have her to come into the room and feed you or whatever. Okay, so he did what he said do. He did exactly that. So he played like he was sick or whatever. Got Tamar to come in there and feed him, cook him something to eat and feed him or whatever. Okay, so what to do? So he did that or whatever. So after she did that, he came on to her and grabbed her or whatever, tried to come on to her or whatever. She wasn't feeling it. She was like, what are you doing? This is wicked. We don't do wicked things like this in Israel. This ain't what we do. We don't get down like this. So yeah, I know they ain't talk like that, but I'm trying to make it interesting or whatever, because you know that Bible talk, the words that they use be boring or whatever. All that thou and this and this, I ain't got time for all that. I'm trying to make it interesting. You know, yeah, I got a short attention span. So she was like, what are you doing? We don't do this. We don't do this in Israel. This ain't how we get down. This ain't what we do. So he overpowered her, long story short, and guess what he did? He raped her, his own sister, half sister. That's what he did. So he did that. She was so distraught. Guess what? Okay, for all the people who think that that a woman not supposed to care about looks or whatever when it comes to choosing a man, guess what? After he raped her, the woman that he was so in love and so awed and so infatuated with, his half sister, guess what? After he raped her, guess what? He put her out and disposed of her like she was a piece of trash. Yes, the same woman, the same half sister who he was so in love with, he raped her, and then after he was done getting what he wanted from her, guess what he did? He put her out, made her cry, and all of this. Okay, so can you imagine after your half brother raping you and then rejecting you and throwing you away after he got what he wanted, after he robbed you and took what was precious? Okay, and she was a virgin, I believe, and did that to her. So it just amazes me at how when a black woman wants someone that she's attracted to, it's a double standard, it's a problem, it's an issue. But a man, a celebrity, or either a regular man can want someone that he's attracted to, but it's not a problem. So I'm not understanding. Okay, so my thing, yes, I do care about looks. I think I'm an attractive woman. Do I think I'm God's gift to creation or to humanity? Of course not. Of course I don't. But I do know that I am an attractive woman. So I don't think there is nothing wrong with me wanting a man or wanting to marry a man that I'm attracted to. Furthermore, of course, I would not want a man if he was just fine as I don't know what, fine as ever, but his character was ugly, or his attitude was ugly, or he had a nasty spirit or whatever. Of course, I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't care how fine he was. So if of course, if I had to pick one, then I would choose the guy who doesn't look as good, who would treat me like a queen and treat me like the woman that I deserve to be treated as, versus the guy who thought he was God's gift to creation or God's gift to women that treated me like I was a piece of you know what. Of course, I mean, like, what do I look like? Of course, there's common sense. Now some women may settle for that and be like, oh, he fine, good, I don't care how he treat me or whatever, how he treat me or whatever. That's them, that's not me. I care about character and I care about looks. So yes, I don't think that there's anything wrong with me wanting someone that I'm attracted to, wanting a God-fearing man, wanting someone who's a family man, goal oriented, has a good job, has a nice car, you know, well put together, respectful, not stingy. Like, these are the qualities and the characteristics that I want in a man, and these are just some to name a few. If I'm an attractive woman, what's wrong with me wanting someone who is easy on my eyes and not harsh for me to look at? Let me tell you something about looks compatibility. Tony Gaston talks a lot about looks compatibility, and I agree with him on that. I may not agree with everything that he says, but for the most part I do. But I agree with him when he talk about looks compatibility. Why? Because you want someone that you're attracted to. Okay, I feel like, in my opinion, if God knows that I care about looks, he knows what's best for me. He knows me better than I know myself. So if he knows that I want something that someone that I'm attracted to, then I don't think that he gonna send me anything less than it. And guess what? If he do, if God tell me, hey, that man over there, that's your husband, but on a scale I rate him a 5 or 6, if God tell me that's my husband, then that's my husband. I'm not gonna treat him any better or any worse than I would a man who I rate a 9 or a 10. You know why? Because if God said that's my husband, then that's my husband. I can't reject them. Or I could if I wanted to, because God do give us free will. But I'm not going to do that. Because guess what? Whatever man God send me, I'm going to pray about it. All right? And if he tell me who that's my husband, no matter how good he look or how good he doesn't look, then I just got to accept it if that's my husband, and if God say that that's the man that he has for me. So no, I'm not only concerned about looks, but yes, I do care about looks, and I feel like I shouldn't have to settle. So the man that I believe that God has for me, the man that I'm waiting on, I do believe he might not be the finest thing walking, but I do believe that I will be attracted to him. And of course, attraction is not just physical attraction. It's chemistry, it's spark, it's intimacy, it's all of that. You know, it's charisma, it's conversation. It's not all of that. It's not all about looks, but me and what my standards, what I want. Yes, I want something. Yes, I want someone who I'm attracted to, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So let me know what y'all think down in the comments. This video will be on YouTube, okay? TikTok, I will break it up into 2 parts because people have a short attention span on TikTok, and they just like to stroll. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments about this topic. And you know, ma'am, if you happen to see this video, you know I'm not coming to you, but I'm on my hour lunch and I got some extra time, so I decided to make this video. I've been coming to the park on my lunch breaks because I've been having an hour lunch. And so, you know, if you see this, I'm not trying to be fun or anything like that, but I just had some extra time on my hand because I am a content creator and this is what I do. And since I've been showing up consistently, I've been noticing that my subscribers have been going up on YouTube and on TikTok. So y'all will be seeing a lot of me. I'm going to be consistent, and that's just what it is. All right, thanks for watching, and don't be a stranger. You know, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. This is social media, so you know, comment, engage. You know, when I'm talking about different discussions and stuff like this, don't be a stranger. I want to know what y'all think down in the comments too. You know, comment. That's why it's called social media, because we socializing. All right, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you to all my new subscribers and to all my new followers on TikTok. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Bye.